right. I hope this thing is on. I hope things are going all right. We're just going to code for a little bit. We are going to do some Spring Shell. We're going to do some updates here. Let's see. Let's add that. And let's make it look like this. Welcome. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. And thanks for being here. I made this Spring Shell project. It's hasn't seen a lot of attention, so we're going to give it some attention. There's a couple of things I wanted to add. I wanted to move. I made a switch from an old project, JGitVer, to this new similar project, Maven Git versioning extension. So what I'm doing is I'm updating this tool. What am I doing with this tool? This tool is the thing, I call it InitializrPlusPlus because it's a thing after I go to start.spring.io, after I create something, there's things that I do, my conventions for going to production. So I wrote this little shell to do the things, and I can put it into my local environment, but I can also put it into my pipelines and have it make sure that I do all the things that I want done on the way to production. So all I'm doing is we're going to play with this. I'll show it to you. I started off stream, but let's see what it looks like. I've made a couple of changes already. Let's take a look. Let's do it like this. W, spring boot run. So it's a shell project. Oh, I gotta clean it up. I've got this project, W spring Java format apply, make sure my code's all formatted proper, and then do mdnw spring boot run. And I should probably bump it up. I'm not, release version 25 not supported. I just made that change. So let's go back here. I said Java 25. I have 25 here. SDK env install. Let's try that again. All right, so now you can look, I have a little shell down here, and I can say help. And this is all features that were given to me by Spring Shell. So I have this help command, and I bundled a bunch of stuff in here. Not all of this is for my path to production. It's just it's a helper. It's nice for the things that I want to do. So one of the things I can do is I can turn on all of the management endpoints. So on something that has the actuator, I can go in and I can say, hey, I want to see all of the actuators. I want to see all of those management endpoints. I can not do that. This is all the built-in stuff. I can add a hello world function bean. I can add these extensions. This is what I'm working on right now. And when I say, hey, extensions, it goes in and it adds these extensions here. It adds an extensions file. That doesn't look great. So let's do this again. Let's delete those. So I'm doing it on my own project as I go. Let's go ahead and do that refactor. Let's go back and look, and I think it's just formatting here. Oh, this is the Spring formatter that didn't like this, I bet. So you know what I'm gonna do? Let's see if that's it. Let's do this. Yeah, so that Spring Java format apply doesn't like this. So let's calm that down a little bit. Let's go down here and let's do this. Let's turn that off. It's nice. I was trying to be all formal and be like the rest of the team. Maybe I'll turn it back on later, but for now, let's turn it off, and then let's do extensions. All right, now we can go back and look at those. It created those files. It's still in that. Why did it do that? It's in this wonky format, but it adds the things that I need, these Maven extensions, so that I can do interesting things. One of the things that I'm a big fan of is this Maven Git versioning. It's the tag for my application. It's not defined in my application. It's not another step that I want to do. I don't want to have to go in and edit these versions. I'm generating the tag based on, I'm generating this version based on the tag that it's in the Git repository. So let's see that this works. And I think I can see it already. Great. I want to see why this isn't, that looks formatted to me. So does this. I'm feeling pretty good. So let's just do this one more time. We're gonna put it clean in here just to make sure. Actually, I'm gonna delete these. And we're gonna try it again. Yes, do that refactor, okay. And I get a tab complete in that Spring Shell, so that's also nice. It still did it that way, and I'm not sure why. Oh, I wonder if there's tabs or something in there. That's possible. But anyways, we can circle back to that. But this does not look the same. Yeah, there's something wonky in there. I did the format, extensions. Here's what I'm gonna do. Whoops. All right, let's try that again. Quit. Let's remove those files. This is the main thing I wanted to work on, is let's just go. So here's the thing. Before, when Spring Shell first came out, this was the experience. I had to have the JVM in order to run. It was still cool. I still got a nice experience, but I wanted more. And now that we have GraalVM, okay, so that still looks funky, but it's XML, it'll be fine. Actually, let me try that one more time. Ooh, let's do this. Delete, yes, click, click, do extensions again. I get it. There. Fantastic. So this is the thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to replace that JGitver with this Maven Git versioning extension, and this is cool. Was there anything else that I want to do? Let's go back and look again. So I'm going to do clear help, and let's look. I have my extensions, the multi-arch manifest. Let's look and see what that does. This creates multi-architecture manifest. So this is something that I haven't done in a while, but let's see what it does. There's a problem adding pipeline configs. Do I already have it? Oh, yeah, I already have these workflows. So let's take a look at what that does. These are in pipeline commands. So let's go to pipeline commands. This is what I'm doing. So I can give it a new command, pipelines to create. This is where I define the multi-arch manifest. So this is how I'm defining functionality inside of that shell. And I can pass in defaults. I can have all sorts of cool stuff. But here I'm saying, hey, create that Circle CI directory, create the GitHub directory, which are already there. Add Circle CI config, which is already there. Add the GitHub workflow. So let's go see. It said file already exists, so we didn't write that. Circle CI dir, they probably did that same thing. It said, hey, let's go to that. Couldn't create the directory, that's fine. If the file doesn't exist, then do it. Otherwise, okay. So GitHub, so that's not where the error came from. These two are fine. Add the Circle CI config. It says, hey, if that file doesn't exist, it already did. Just throw an exception that the file already exists. So that exception is what got thrown here. And it says, hey, yeah, there was a problem adding pipeline configs. There was a problem adding pipelines because it already existed. So that's okay. Maybe not the best experience, maybe not the best response, but that makes sense. Hey, I didn't do anything. I don't expect to do anything. Let's go look at our other things. Native Maven plugin. So this has been here since way back in 2.7 days. I was pulling in, I had to do some extra stuff. Let's see what that does. Okay, it added it. Let's go see what that looks like inside of our POM. Not there, right there. So it just added this native Maven plugin. And to be honest, that's kind of important. What was there before? The Java. This is kind of important. I want to do native builds, but is this what I need these days? Let me go double check. When I go to Initializer and I'm doing this, raw VM, and I go look at the POM file, it's this native Maven plugin. So it is that exact same thing. So if I'm in a project and it doesn't have the native Maven plugin, that's the command to add it. Simple enough. I'm using the Maven schema in order to add these things. So it turns out really nice. What else? The multi-arch builder. So now the multi-arch builder, let's see what that does. So is this the latest version? So what I did was when I add this, and this is for when I'm building something that's going to get containerized. I'm using Builder Jammy, Build Packlist, Tiny. I don't think I have to do this anymore. I don't think. Again, when I first did this, I do ARM images, right? I like to do multi-architecture images. So I think this will work. I think these are going to work together, but not in this project. This project's not getting a container, but this looks good to me. So I have my naming convention where I'm putting it into my Docker repository. But the whole point of this is I can put these things out there and we get really cool results. This is the kind of thing that I think works as an enterprise, right? If you have these tools that give you your conventions, instead of having to go and look in a Confluence page or a wiki, I have a tool that makes sure that my project is ready to go to production. So I'm going to back this out. Oh, there it goes. I put my native Maven plugin there. I'm going to back this out. And I'm feeling pretty good. Let's see what other options we have here. The project name, add the Spring Java format Maven plugin. I can update the project name. I can add this. So this is just going to add it back, Spring-format. That thing that I took out. Ooh, look at that version. So that's not good. Let's find out what the latest version is. So that our tool is doing the updates. It's actually updating to the latest and greatest version. '47. So in my POM file commands, I think that was a POM file command, right? POM file command, Spring format. I go here, I'm going to write POM file. Spring format. Add Spring format. I'm here. Plugins.spring format. And we want to change that to 47. Fantastic. So now instead of having the old version, I'll go to 47 instead of 40, which is what I had here. And let's keep going. Spring REST docs. I'm a big fan of Spring REST docs. Let's go look at our plugin. We're just doing a little bit of house cleaning. Adding a plugin. Spring REST docs. We want org ASCII Doctor Maven plugin. Let's go take a look. Now there's other ways of doing these updates, but this is the tool. So I got 3.2.0 here. Oh, is that for real? Let's do this. Let me go and do it this way. Let me go and add REST docs, and let me see what I get. When I go this way. I want to stay on the release train. Ah, look at, I'm still getting 221. Now, that is a little concerning. I feel like I did this before. But so this is org ASCII Doctor 221. I think I still want that. I think I want to stay on the same path. I want to stay on the release train. If I'm using 221, I know that the rest of Spring is compatible with it. So I think I'm going to stay here. Spring REST docs version. I'm seeing something here. This spring-restdocs.version does not exist as a property. So this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for us to go and do an update. Right? You're not seeing that version. So if I generate this, let's close. Let's generate this example. Let's go take a look. We'll open up a new shell. And this is the pattern. This is what I want you to do. This is something that I learned along the way is like, this is open source. This is part of being open source is contributing back. It's not just like, oh, give me this. And I'm not just going to complain that doesn't work. I want to go in and let's validate it. Unzip. All right, let's go here. Because what I think is that's a bug. I think if I pull this, I think that that is missing. It does not know what Spring REST docs version is. Right? It can't do anything. So if I do this, MUNW clean, it should error. I expect it to error. Oh, it did clean. Package. Oh, it says 25. That's not there. So maybe it's not a problem as a part of my plugin, but this is definitely a problem. I want to fix this. I think I want to fix that for the next person. So where does that live? I don't know. GitHub.com. So I'm now officially distracted. Maybe I should, let's go to Initializer, I think. Let's first bring Initializer. I want the GitHub repo. Spring, oh, here it is. This is our generator. And there's our good friend, Moritz. Let's see if there's one open. REST docs. No, there's not. Oh, look at this. Don't include a version when using boot one. That is old. All right. So I first thing I want to do is like see if there's any open items already. And then now I feel like something is wrong here. Let's go here. I feel like I've been down this path before. But let me think of what it was. Here we go. Maven version in wrapper properties. All right. Maven 3.9 is a default here. Curious to know what are those extensions that require 3.9. Thanks to the inside, I'm going back and forth. So I'll probably copy paste. Git for boop boop boop. I feel like there was another one. Let me go back. Close. Author. No, I just had that one. That's all right. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new issue. Let's go look at our conventions here. Okay, let's create a new issue. And I want to say Spring Rest Docs version. Spring Rest Docs dot version. Property not being set in XML in selecting Spring Rest Docs. So let's go and put in our example here. Let's remove this, make sure that that's not the culprit, and explore. Yeah, so let's copy. Let's throw this into our issue. Look like, hey, there's I don't have a line number, but let's do this. Close Spring Rest Docs. Is there something else? Let me just make sure. Like if I go add web, do I get it? No. I expect that property would show up here in properties. And there's kind of two issues here. Like I feel like we've moved beyond this before, but that's okay. This is the issue that I think is an issue. Spring Rest Docs version property not being set in POM.xml when selecting Spring Rest Docs. Select references $Spring Rest Docs version. The property is not set. That's the issue. That's my issue. That's it. That's great. So now let's go and let's see if we can fix it. Hello, hello. I cannot say how to make games. Thanks for showing up. I can't. I can do this. I've been there. Like I want to do fun stuff. Let's go. Just because you asked, fun. JavaGrunt.com. One of the things that you might find interesting is like, hey, I want to go and make a game. This one is not complex, but it's a way to get started. This is something I vibe coded. I said, hey, I want to have something cool to show, to share. So like when we're on the live stream, if I've got my stuff up and running, let's do this. ABNW Spring Boot Run. This is going to stand up and it'll run on localhost 8080. And it's going to start up on a URL. So you can actually go and see this if we take a look. Did I get a URL? It says ngrok seems to not responding, so maybe I didn't get a URL. But this is open here locally, localhost 8080. My chaos game. So what does that mean? This is Spring Boot, and I used libgdx is the framework that I use on top of a Spring Boot, and it's for making games. Now I can't go into the details and all this, but this is the framework that I use when I want to do something like a game. It's all Java, and it's also multi-platform. So you can build a game using this that runs on in your browser, it runs on Android, runs on iOS, etc. So maybe take a look. That's all I will say. That's as far as I'll go. But with that, you can do some fun stuff. So the idea here is on this game is if you're joining on Twitch and you've got channel points, you can use your channel points to take a computer out of the network so that we can test and make sure that our systems are still running, that our websites are still running when we delete a machine. So there's the, stay tuned for that. You can come back later for that chaos game. It's a work in progress, but that's the whole idea. So thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. So let's get back. Let's get back. I opened up an issue. What I wanted to do, let's stop this one. I was doing this. I got on this ASCII Doctor because I'm adding this stuff and I want to kind of stay in line. So what version do we think of Spring REST docs should be coming in? Spring REST docs 3.0.5 is the latest version. We're coming up on 4.0. So yeah, this is our version. I'm assuming that it should be 3.0.5. So what I should do is, let's go to Spring Initializer. I'm going to just check this out. Actually, no, I'm going to fork it. I'm going to fork this over to, oh, it already exists. Let's do Sean-dev. So let's get a fork. And then we're going to check it out and we're going to see what we can find. I'm going to get rid of spam on one of these platforms. Sorry about that. Fantastic. So we've got our own fork. Let's go and see if we can do something with it. GitHub repo clone Sean-dev initializer. And immediately, I'm just going into my IDE because I just feel more comfortable navigating this way. And let's look for REST docs. Web test REST docs here. You know what? Let's look for Spring REST docs. All right, what was the property? GitHub Spring IO issues, the one that I just opened. spring dash rest docs, spring dash rest docs dot version. It doesn't find that at all. Okay. Initializer actuator, initializer web. I'm expecting it to be this spring rest docs ASCII doctor. Let's see if we can find where this gets added. Am I barking up the wrong tree here? Maybe I'm in the wrong spot. Like, I just remember I've gone down this path before. And I'm wondering if I'm in the wrong project. Let's go back and look here at Spring IO. I think this is the right one. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can find rest docs. Here. Spring rest docs project. Here we go. This is where I'm supposed to be. Spring rest docs. I'm just trying to find my way. Because what I'd like to do is, now that I've opened up an issue, what I would like to do is submit a PR, right? So this is open source. This is, hey, I found something that didn't look right, that I see this property that's not set. I think, I would expect that it should be 3.0.5 since we're on the latest version of Spring Boot. This is what I expect, but that's different. So I opened up an issue, and now I want to see if I can go fix it. If I can find where the issue is. So let's go and check out this project. We'll fork it to the same Sean-dev, and we think that this is where we're supposed to be. So let's go here. We can close initializer. We can close that example. And what we're going to do is here, as soon as that fork is done, which it is, we will say github repo clone deshaun-dev start.spring.io. And we'll try this again. We're going to, I just like this interface better, find files, spring-rest docs. Oh, there's that dot version. So this is the Spring REST Docs Maven build customizer. I should probably do this for Gradle as well, but let's go look. So this all makes sense. Here's the plugin dependency, and here's this. So what it didn't do was, so here, this is saying, hey, when you've got a Maven build, do this, do a build plugin, add, here's all the stuff that gets added, but we need to add this property. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know the API here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back here to something that has a property, something like Modulith, that has a property, Spring Modulith version. So let's go back here and let's look and see how And again, I knew that just because I've used the tool. But let's do this. Find in files, Spring. What did I say it was? Dash modulus dot version. Now, oh, okay. So this is where that's defined. So let's see if there a Spring REST docs in here. REST docs. Spring Cloud. So there's not one in here. So what I saw was Spring modulus. So this YAML file is saying, hey, I've got a map here that says for this project, the version is going to be dependent on this compatibility range. I can do that, right? And if I'm doing it alphabetically, I think I want it here. Spring REST docs, group ID, this is the version property. This is the artifact ID. What is our artifact ID? Because even in that file that got generated over here, oops, I don't need that. Here, when we bring in REST docs, we're bringing in the ASCII Doctor Maven plugin. Oh, here we go. And we are doing org Spring Framework REST docs is the group ID. Spring REST docs group ID is org Spring Framework REST docs. The artifact ID is this. Spring REST docs ASCII Doctor. The version property, hello, is Spring REST docs dot version. Mappings, what I don't know, compatibility range. Let's go look. Let's see if we can figure this out. So 3.0 came out in 2022. And in 2022, we were at, that was Spring Boot 3, right? So this 2022, if I go over here, support 2022, we got, let's do this. We got Spring Boot 3 in 2022. So that, following the release train, again, me thinking that I'm clever, is it's compatible with Spring Boot 3. So the 3.0.x is compatible with Spring Boot 3. That means this one is probably compatible with Spring Boot 2, but we're not generating old stuff, right? So in start.spring.io, the only option they have to worry about is the 3.4, 3.5, 4.0. Now, if I'm here, compatibility range 3.4 is as far as I can go back, right? So 3.4, oh, I've got these minor. Let's go look and see if I can figure something out here. Learn. I don't I can't guess. Oh, but I can go here. Let's go to the github.com Spring projects, and then let's go to the Spring REST docs. That's where it's B, right? REST docs. And I can go to the releases. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm not streaming all the places, but this is the pattern. This is the pattern that I would like everybody to do, is when you run into something like, yeah, let's try to fix it. So this is what I'm doing. I think that I'm going to do this. If I go 3.4.0 to I think this is the bottom, but this says open. I'm trying to understand these compatibility ranges. And I'm not even sure if so do I have a milestone release of Spring REST docs? That I think would be the only difference. Let's go back here, Spring REST docs. Right, let's go here. Here we go. I do have a milestone of V4 M3. So if I were to say, hey, and I'm guessing, and what I'll do before submitting a PR, I'll ask for help. I'll reach out to Moritz. So I think if I'm following this says, hey, 3.4.0 up to 3.5.0 M1 and beyond. Then I'm going to do version 3.0.5. Otherwise, compatibility range 4.0.0-M1. I'm going to go look. So if I'm here and I'm using Spring Modulus, I just want to understand. If I am 4.0 M3 and I grab Modulus, what version do I get? I get 2.0 M3. This is the bottom. Okay. So maybe that's less than that. So I think that this might be 4.0.0 M1. And then this is 4.0 M1 to 4.1.0 M1. Then you, whoops, what did I do? You'll get version 4.0.0 M3, right? M3. So now what would be cool is to be able to test it before we move. And I'm pretty sure I've been down this path before. And actually, I can maybe verify that I've been down this path before. Let me go back to here. No, I want to go to here. I want to look at these issues. And I want to look at closed. Oh. So we did this. So I was down this path. There's no 2.2 version of the Grado plugin, so we should revert that. We should probably also take a look at this. So in fact, it may be better to just do that rather than dropping back. So we did upgrade to 2.2.1 in last February. All right, but I worked on this, I think. So did I do it? I had spring shell test. I'm looking for where that test existed. And this looks like it. All right, let's look. What is the path here? Spring start site extensions. Source test. I'm not seeing that. Are you? Start site. Start site source test. Java IO Spring. There we go. Java IO Spring start site extension. And then dependency. And then REST docs. Spring REST docs. Fantastic. And then we did the Spring Shell test build customizer test. Build customizer tests. All right, let's see what we can find. So when it has this dependency and does not have assert that this has this RestDocs with WebMVC. Can I run these? What are we missing? Everything. So let's do this. Why is it not being cool? Let's figure out this is a module start site. So I think I can go like this. Stuff couldn't be resolved. Oh, I don't have snapshots. I got to turn on snapshots. Okay, that makes sense. This project is moving forward and I don't have the snapshots. Let me fix this. And I'm certain that I've done that in the past. Ooh. But why wouldn't that be? So I gotta go and change my M2. Let's RM this settings on XML. And let's leave it. Let's not use any of my caches, and let's try that again. All right, so that way I was able to use these snapshots. I had Nexus running, and I was using Nexus, which I didn't have snapshots enabled, so we're in good shape. So now, if I want to do MVNW test, will it run all the tests? I realize this is a massive project, but it would be really cool to be able to share a fix. And you could do it too. Like you have the ability to do this. We're just doing an example. I just wanted to code. I was in the middle of doing something, and my shell project depends on this RestDocs. I like to use Spring RestDocs, and I'd like to stay in line. So that's how we got here. That is how we got here. And there's something to be said about going into a project that you've never been in. I have been through this. It's been a while. But I have been in this repository before, and I just remembered a couple of things. So we are lucky here, or I got lucky. And all I'm doing now is say, I want to run these tests, and then what I want to do is I want to build a test so I can validate. I want to make sure that I've got this property. Where's my button? This one. So these are my Spring RestDocs build customizer tests. Spring RestDocs Maven build customizer tests. Let's go check and see if it does the same thing on a Gradle build. If I go here and I do Gradle Groovy, same thing. If I go Explore, oh, we're doing Modulith, sorry. I want to, so this worked for Modulith. Let's do this for RestDocs. And a Gradle build, and let's take a look. So it does not have a version, but let's do this. What if I'm on 356? So Gradle, I'm not as familiar with. But that looks right. So I'm going to guess that the version for Spring RestDocs is handled here. And it's just a Maven problem. So while those tests are still running, that's fine. I think now that I've built everything and now that my class paths are set up, I think that I can go and run these tests individually and I should be able to validate this. Let's take a look at so look at this. It definitely is looking for that. So that's definitely supposed to be there. Customizes Gradle build. Was that copied over from something? Yeah, it was probably copied over. It says customizes Gradle build. Customizes Gradle build. Yeah, I think this was supposed to be customizes Maven build, but that's okay. The other assertion that I want here is I want the version. So when we're the Modulith build doesn't verify that version. When I do the generator, these tests are still running. When I do the generator, I'm going to close this, close this, close this. I want to get that version property. That's the test. This. So when I'm here, I go back to this and I say, I want to do the same thing as Modulith. Spring Modulith Customizer. Where does it get the persistence brokers? Has actuator, add event. Add the starter test. So is this the one right here? Where, right, when we looked at that application YAML, this one, when we looked at this, oh, I think this is just something that's getting added on top. But let's try this now. Let's go back and look. These tests are still running. I'm going to cancel. I don't need to run all the tests. Now that I've got my class path stuff figured out, let's go back here. Let's go to our Spring REST docs, our build customizer tests. And let's run this. All right, but you know what I want to do? I want to web and REST docs. Create project request has web and REST docs. I want to look at this. So let's debug. And let's see if we can go and see if I get that version now. So there's our request. Step in. This.pom. Project dependencies. I'm going to try that again so I can follow myself. Here I've got a request. I want that Maven POM request response. This. I can see this content. There's my document. Let me view that. Here it is. I've got all this stuff, but I still don't have that property. So I still am looking for this. How do I get that property? So let's put that there. And we can stop. This is what I want to do. So here, when I do this one, let's debug this one. I didn't hit it. Build dependencies, IDs. How is that different? Let's go look at this, the build customizer. Where is the part that it brings in the version? I'm thinking that it's got to be something like this. Oh, okay. In that YAML, again, going from conventions, I'm going to guess that here, is it REST docs? ID is REST docs, not Spring REST docs. Nope, ID is modulith. Artifact ID. So here where we had ID, we had BOM, we had compatibility range. And this is me just grasping, trying to look. I would really like to be able to submit a pull request, and I'm going to run out of time. No, this one. This is the test we want to do. We want to debug it. Wait, I had a breakpoint. What did I do? customizer, Maven. Let's look at that content. 350. Still no property. Okay, so the only place that we see that property is in that application YAML. I feel like, hey, my friend, I'll show you what I did. I went to start.spring.io. I grabbed Spring REST docs. I'm going to grab web as well, and I'm going to explore. I'm going to take a look at this POM, or this, not Gradle. I want to do it with Maven. And what I'm finding is I have a reference to Spring REST docs version, but I don't have a property for it. And I feel like this is a bug. So as I was down this path, I said, hey, first of all, let's just go and create an issue for it. And I think I created the issue in the wrong project, because I created an initializer, and I think that it's actually in this start.spring.io is where it should be. So I'm just trying to create a pull request, right? Spring probably provides that. So this is where I'm at. I have a test where I'm building a dependency. I'm building a project, and this is the POM file that'll come out of that project if I've got web and REST docs, right? A default. So I get all the things. The only thing I'm not getting is that property. And I do not get it. And my comparison is if I go here and I change REST docs out for Modulith, which I know has that version property, and I go explore for a Modulith project, I get a Spring Modulith.version that I reference later. So that's why I feel like that's supposed to be there. That's why I feel like it's supposed to be there. But now, is it provided by the parent POM? Is that what you're saying? Where is that property? Does that property exist in the Spring Boot Starter parent? So maybe I don't. You know what? Let's go take a look. We had a example that we checked out here. I got an idea. And we're looking at this. No, see, it says I don't know what that version is. So even though I've pulled down Spring Boot 3.5.6, it says I don't know what that version is. Oh wait, it does have a dependency version. It does have a version. Yeah. But it says it can't find it, 3.0.5. So here, so this, maybe I was, going down the wrong path, but let's go to here and let's see, like, hey, do we have Spring Rest Docs ASCII Doctor? Why am I not finding it? We don't have a Spring Rest Docs ASCII Doctor. Is that real? This should be mock MVC. So there was a problem, but it was the wrong problem. I generated Spring Rest Docs ASCII Doctor, but that doesn't exist. Do you agree that we don't have a project called Spring Rest Docs ASCII Doctor? No, here we do. Spring Rest Docs ASCII Doctor, but we don't have a 3.05. We do have a 3.05. Well, then what is happening here? So ignore everything I just said. Okay, hey, Spring AI adds that property, so I'm probably right, maybe, but we can click in. And what I did see is when we're here, it says, hey, 3.0.5, and that's the property, that's the value that I expect. So I'm sure that's coming from that parent POM, which we can, I think, go and see. But maybe not there. So I'm not sure. But this is, it would be nice to know which RestDocs version that we're using. So this is the path that I'm on. Thanks for jumping in. And I'm getting ready to go. But this is where I'm at. What I wanted to do, what I was working on before this was, living that n-0 life. I was on this path over here working on InitializrPlusPlus. And one of the things that I do in this tool is Spring Boot Run, is I give myself the ability, when I find myself in a project, I want to, oh yeah, this is that thing again. I find myself in a project that doesn't have good documentation. I want to add that documentation. Let's pull this out for a moment. Ugh. My stuff is all messy. Spring Boot Run. This is how I got down the path. I got down the path because I have this tool that allows me to add Spring Rest Docs. And the code that I was doing that is I have my Spring Rest Docs versions. Let's go to, this is a POM file command, Spring rest docs. Add spring rest docs. This is what I do. I have the ASCII Doctor Maven plugin that I'm adding. And then I add spring rest docs. And I do the same thing. So maybe I'm not worried. Maybe that is always provided. Because I wasn't putting a version in there anyways. So maybe I'm down a path that was just kind of a dead end. I didn't need to do it. It seems to be working. So yeah, so it's time. I got to go pick up kids from the sports. So let me go back and I'm going to remove my thing, github.com, spring IO, initializer issues. Let's go. This is, let's get rid of that one. Done. Ignore that. I opened an issue. I even opened it in the wrong project anyways. So this was good. This was fun. We're making progress, but I learned a little thing. I learned something. Spring rest docs works. This works. I had an AWS Lambda profile for Spring Cloud Functions. I'll leave that in there. I had a Webflux profile for Spring Cloud Functions. I'll leave that project description. That Zulu builder. Let's go take a look at that real quick. Just updating. Here. If I'm adding the Zulu builder, here, Zulu builder, all I'm doing is adding build packs. I think we're in good shape. I don't think I have to do anything else. I think this will still work. Fantastic. And add a README. So my functions are good. I've made a couple of updates. Let's quit. Let's do this. Let's commit our changes and then we'll go. So thanks for hanging out. It was fun. I'm going to jump over to pick up the kids from the sports, and we'll see you soon. Take care.